Hello and welcome to the East Manchester Save. The title of the video probably gives you a hint at our recent form. It ain't great. We have got a couple of wins recently, but that draw there was pretty costly, and the defeat at Erlen, these are games we should be winning really. The one thing I do want to point out is this game here. I remember saying to you in a previous video that if we conceded the first goal, we generally didn't win the game. This was an exception. As you can see, we were 3-0 down just before half time. We got one back on the stroke of half time, and then with 26 minutes to go, no, 16 minutes to go, we were 3-1 down, and we ended up winning 6-3. So there was a bit of an exception here for this game. It was a game that made me very, very happy against a team that I've played so often, and to get such a convincing win, having been losing quite badly so late on, is great. Sadly, the same thing didn't happen when Erlen came to visit. We just had a really poor performance. I mean, it wasn't as bad as it sounds, because we went for it at the end of the game to try and get that goal, but we should have scored by then, and it is disappointing that we couldn't get an opening goal earlier than that so that we could win that game. All of which has meant that we are now very much outsiders for this, I would say. As you will see from this, Alsager Town have got 2 games in hand on us, and will go 2 points clear if they win those. Skelmersdale already 2 points clear with 1 game in hand. So it is now going to take, I'm not quite going to say a miracle, but a very good run of form for sure. I don't think I can afford to lose another game. I will probably come back with a video for the Alsager Town game, I think, for tomorrow. But today, sorry, I've changed my mind. We're going to do Silsden, and we'll take a break for the Northwich game. We won't worry about that, because if we don't win that, then forget it. But the Alsager Town game, if we win that, will then become pretty much a last chance saloon. I do think we'll need to win all of these. If we do that, decent chance, not certainty by any means. But a decent chance certainly that we could then win the league. It would mean that it's in our hands as far as Alsager Town are concerned. Obviously Skelmersdale are going to have to drop some points, but hopefully that is something that might happen. It's certainly not a foregone conclusion. That 6-1 defeat to them a few weeks ago has ended up costing us really, really badly. It was a game that you saw in the last video. It really was a terrible, terrible performance. I'm not quite sure what happened with us there, but yeah. I mean, look, you look at the stats and you think, well, that's not a 6-1 defeat. So maybe we were a little unlucky certainly to lose that badly, but we certainly didn't play very well. And the shocking defending meant that the scoreline was perhaps worse than it would otherwise have been. Today, though, we're going to play Silsden for the chance to get to our first final since, I think, the first year of this save. This is the team I'm going to go with. We've got 3 strikers here, all approaching or already at 20 plus goals, which is terrific. Max Guy, the one problem there, which is odd, because at the start of the season I would have said he was my best striker. It's definitely not the case anymore. Javan Smith has really improved this season, I think. You can see here from his attributes that he's a fairly well-rounded player now. Nice and big. If you look at the development this season, attribute changes. I know this is improved for the latest FM, and that's something that I'm looking forward to when I do change over to my new game. But you can see there have been slight improvements. Since 12 months ago, pretty much the general trend is upwards. Certainly his physicals have really, really improved, and he's become, quite an imposing figure as a target man in that attack. And I think Harry Waterhouse has definitely benefited from that, because you can see he's still not a great player. I think he's improved very slightly, but he's not a player who should be doing well at this level. But I think Javan Smith's influence has probably helped him quite a lot, and that's why he's been able to bag in quite a lot of goals. That said, he, like Guy, has lost a lot of form lately, and I think it's a big part of what's gone wrong in the last couple of months, is that the strikers just haven't really been working as well as they should have been. We do have Finley Hayhurst back, which is good, because Jay Matete unfortunately is just not the player he was, so we are going to have to replace him with Finley Hayhurst, who has been much improved this season after a poor season last season, but again, like quite a number of players now, he's lost a bit of form just lately. So here we go then, with the game against Silsden. And as I say, it's our chance to get to the first final this club has had, I think, since the first season, when we won that final. That made such a difference to us in terms of the finances for the second season. I think it's the main reason we were able to get another promotion the next season. So whether we're going to get promoted this season or not, this could be really important for us next season, either to steer us to the title next year, or possibly hopefully to keep us in the league above. I don't think another promotion is likely next year, certainly, because our finances are still pretty dreadful, but this would obviously ease that a little bit. So here we go then. East Manchester against Silsden. Osse has the ball on the wing. A good shot, the box into the box, shoots, goes wide. Good start from us though, we look bright. Silsden have the ball now in our half. Smith, ball on the edge of the box to Naylor. Smith then shoots, and Okoro, Prince Okoro gets the goal. It's a really bad pattern that we're getting at the moment. We are putting pressure early on and then conceding a goal. I wouldn't say on the break because we were quite well organised there, but we're conceding a goal sort of against the run of play. That's the word, and that's a really disappointing trend lately. And I've got a really bad feeling about this now. It's amazing how much in this level of the game you go on runs of both wins and defeats, and it just feels like we're in a defeat run, and one more defeat in the league would be the end of that season, or obviously a defeat here would be the end of this. So unfortunately this video could really mark the end of the season, in which case I might consider tacking onto the end a little bit of an end of season review actually. So this could be the end of the season episode. It depends on really what happens now. I mean, Silsden are all over us now. What's happened here? It's really poor. I've got to stay on attacking because we need a goal. We need 2 goals quickly. And we're still dominating possession, so there's no reason in theory why we shouldn't be able to turn things round. But it is going to take an improvement. And if we're defending like this, then it's not going to happen. I'm just going to tell them that I want to see a little bit more from them. I think I'm going to have to be pretty harsh on them at half time. I told you before I don't like doing it, but this is so poor. It's a team we should be beating. They're quite a long way down. They're in our league, but they're quite a long way down it, I think. Let's check. Yeah, 13th. So it's a game we should be winning with some ease. And for us to be losing 2-0 at half time, it's really pathetic. You're letting yourselves down. Good, they accept that. So hopefully we'll see an improvement. Whether it'll be enough, I don't know. Okay, I'll say swings the ball in, we get a chance. I think this might be the first chance we've had this game. It was a decent chance, but it's not a goal. We're running out of time to get that first one, I would say. If we don't get the first one soon, I'm going to be very worried here. At the moment, you still feel we have plenty of time, but it's running away from us. We've had absolutely nothing since that last highlight at all. We're quite a long way through now. We've presumably... I was going to say presumably going to be 3-0 down because we seem to concede every time we have any highlight at the moment, but not yet. Come on, we need to hit them on the break. Running out of time here, guys. A bit more urgency. Come on. This is not going to happen for us today, I fear. See if a few fresh legs might make a little bit of difference, but I fear it's too late. Let's bring on Jazz Casey. Have Liam Noble in for Max Gee. Waterhouse nicks the ball in midfield. Gets it through to Gee. Gee can shoot now. Our has scored. We've got 8 minutes to get another one. Come on. We can do this. We can do this. Might be on here for another escape. Yes, I'm going to proceed with the tactical changes because we still need a goal. It's good that Max Gee scored because that will just boost his confidence before I bring him off. And we're now in the last few minutes. It's not going to happen, I fear. I wish that used to have in old FMs that take more risks button, but we haven't got that anymore. I don't know whether it's a similar effect to one of the shouts perhaps, but unfortunately with 40 seconds left there's not a lot I can do, and it's too far into our half really for this to be a chance for us, I think. Kick it. Cute. Hayhurst, one last chance maybe to Waterhouse. Ugachukwu, we're in the last 10 seconds and that's it now, I'm sure. We haven't got time to get up there. Oh, that's really disappointing. I know it's only £10,000, it's not a massive amount of money, but it would have just been nice. It would have eased a little bit of pressure because the finances are a real problem. I'll come back to that in a second actually, but they are a real problem for us. We are seriously in a hole at the moment, and it's a hole that I think we are going to need a takeover at some point to get out of. I'll show you now. We are over £100,000 in debt now, so and obviously that's only projected to get worse. I have been bringing down some wages, so I've got some of these players signed new contracts, obviously important anyway, the ones who are doing well, but they've done so mostly on smaller contracts, and that obviously will help a bit, but it won't help enough unfortunately at the moment. We are going to have real problems unless we can find a way to just bring that down a bit more. Just trying to get this view. I always have problems with this view to get it right. Every column is the right kind of. See, this column here is way too big. It doesn't need to be this big. There we go. That's right. Right. So I will be back then for the Alsager Town game. I'm going to skip the Northwich game because if we lose that, then it's pointless anyway. But the Alsager Town game, if we win that, becomes very, very important because they are potentially one of the rivals. Skelmersdale, we're going to just have to rely on them losing a couple of games. But in fact, yeah, they are going to have to lose 2. I was going to say there's a draw and a defeat enough, but it's not, because if they get 1 draw, their goal difference is so much better than us that even if we win every game, we will not catch them. So they'll need to lose 2 in order for us to catch them. But that's certainly not an impossibility. So we can hope. They're on a fantastic run of form. You'll see here they've drawn 1 game in the league, and every other game they've won since the end of December. So in 2023, we're on the 22nd of March now. They've won every game bar 1. That 0-0 draw at Bursketh. So they've got a couple of tough games. Abbey Hay won't be easy, certainly, and Earlham is always a difficult place to go in this league, I feel. They're not the best team in the league by any means, but it's always a game that I find is a tough one. I wonder what my record is like against them. I lost to them 3-0 recently. There's no way to check my other games against them, I don't think, unfortunately, but yeah, that gives you an idea, certainly, of the calibre of opposition that they've got to beat. It's certainly not an impossibility, but we are going to have to win every single game. There is absolutely no doubt about that now, and they're not easy games we've got here. We've just lost to Silsden. We've got to play them away on the 8th of April. I will be back on the 2nd of April for the Alsager Town game. If that is the end of the season, then this will be the end of... I will also do the end of season review as well. If it's not, if it's looking exciting, then I will come back for another couple of games, well, 1 or 2 games depending on the situation, to hopefully see us win the league, and if not, then something else at some point. But I will be back at the beginning of April for that Alsager Town game. See you in a second. But before we get to that, I just want to share with you this screen. You will notice this is the game that I did say I wasn't going to do, and I didn't do. We won the game, but more importantly, Alsager Town lost, and Skelmersdale lost as well. So suddenly, things are looking like they might be back on. It's on our hands as far as Alsager Town is concerned. If we win every game, we're guaranteed at least 2nd. And Skelmersdale now only need to drop 3 more points, and we will be the front runners again. There's only 4 games left for us, 5 for Skelmersdale, so there's still a bit of way to go. But it's certainly now looking like it's a possibility. If they lose 1 more game and we win them all, we are the champions. There's no doubt about that. Who they're going to lose to, who knows? But they have got certainly some tough games coming up. We've got 5 games in April. It's not going to be an easy run. Let's hope that they manage to trip over in one of those at least. So we're coming back on the 2nd for our Alsager Town game. They are playing at the same time. Who knows? That could be a day when we suddenly become the front runners, the favourites for the title again. Let's say at the start of the season we were favourites. Now Skelmersdale are, but it's not far off. And I think 1 more result going against them, assuming we win, might change that round. Fingers crossed. Back in a moment. So here we are on the 2nd of April for the game against Alsager Town. Those results have obviously gone our way a little bit. There's also been this game. No, the other team is also playing. So Skelmersdale playing Camel Laird at the same time as us. So that's the result I was looking for. But obviously it's playing at the same time, so that's why it's not there. This is the team we're going to go with, I think, today. Despite Waterhouse's form being less than ideal, I think it's still going to be our best 11, because we don't really have any other strikers who can do the business at the moment. So we've got to stick with him and just hope for the best. Got Jazz Casey, who's also not in the best of form, but Jacob Ossé also isn't. So nobody is in great form there. And my feeling was that Jazz Casey was probably just about in. He kind of needs more game time than Ossé does at the moment. Plus, of course, Ossé is not our player. I think his contract at Darlington is up at the end of the season, from what I remember. So it's possible I might be able to get him permanently. Not 100% convinced if I want to. He's quite quick though, and the thing is, quick players do make such a difference. So I think I probably will try and sign him. Whether that's possible will be another matter, of course. We have got Billy Fisher back. I've just noticed. So that's the one change that I will make. Billy Fisher into the team again. He does make a bit of a difference, I think, when he's there. So the Osaka Town game is upon us. This is an absolutely must-win game. So, going to give them a bit of encouragement. Doing really well at the moment, so hopefully we can continue that in this crucial match at the top of the table. Pond shoots, goes over the top. We're going to need the table up, aren't we? Let's just pause it for a second. Where do we want the table? I think there's only 2 games, so we don't need the events. We'll have the league table here. So we can see there at the moment we are top of the league. That will be the case as long as we don't lose today. No, it won't. If we draw and Skelmersdale win, they will go above us. But the one thing that we are looking for is if Camel Laird can beat Skelmersdale, then, and assuming we win as well, in fact, actually, even if we draw, assuming we win, then we are, the title is back in our hands, and that's kind of the crucial thing at this point, is whether we can get the title back into our hands. We certainly won't be out of it after today, but if we were to lose and Skelmersdale were to win, it would make it very difficult. I think it would be, we'd be massive outsiders at that point. So this is a big game for us. And car crash. It did a bit of a car crash for us, unfortunately. It's a really poor, it's just so Route 1. Just no attempt here from that defender, number 6. Who's that? Lewis Morrison again. Of course it's Lewis Morrison. I've said it so many times, I don't need to keep saying it. You know what I think of Lewis Morrison. The Sasso shoots, goes wide. We have kind of bucked the trend that I was talking about earlier in the season, where if we go behind, we tend to lose. We have kind of turned a few games around recently, so it's certainly not over yet. But we need something to happen from our forward players. Guy goes through. Can he score? No. He hits so many shots at the keeper. It's a big problem with Guy, I think, and that's why he doesn't get as many goals as he should. He gets so many one-on-ones, and he just hits the ball against the keeper. His finishing is quite good. He shouldn't be him. Maybe, I don't know what it is. But maybe it's the technique of the shots, perhaps. I don't know. But he doesn't tend to score that many of them when he's one-on-one with a keeper like that. He does miss a lot. And this is car crash back through again. That's what I'm going to call him. And he scored 2 again. This really is a car crash. Oh God! Every time we have a chance to get ourselves really back into it, of course Camel Laird have scored. Goes without saying, doesn't it? Of course they have. It means that the title still won't be over after today. Very much not. But yeah, it's not looking good. And of course they scored now, so we will be behind them on goal difference as it stands, with their game in hand, of course. And that takes us to half time. Really disappointing. I mean, it really does feel like this will be terminal now. I know it's not actually over if we lose this, but I can't really see us winning the league unless we win this game. And it doesn't look likely from here. But we have turned these games around before from similar positions. As you saw before, we were 3-0 down not that long ago at half time against Abbey Hay. And we managed to turn that around and have a big win. So it's not impossible, but we're certainly going to need something to happen quite quickly in this second half, I think. And Carr crashes through again. Is he going to make a hat-trick? No, Fisher can stop it that time. We have a corner here. Smith gets to it, but heads it wide. Just trying to think what I can change, because clearly there's something not working. I might just bring the line of engagement back a little bit. Play with a slightly lower defensive line so that we don't get caught around the back too much. Try and defend a little bit wider too, so that, because a lot of these strikes are coming from off the wings. So I think, obviously, that I know that is a weakness of this tactic. Of course it is. If you haven't got any wide defensive players, but if we can defend with what we have got a bit wider, I assume that will counteract it a little bit. Should have probably thought of that. Maybe that's a little bit of the reason why things have been going badly for us recently. Getting to the point now where it really is kind of getting to a point where we need a goal, and it needs to be now. Waterhouse is through. It is 1. That's good. That's a start. We need 3. 2 is not enough. A draw here, it really doesn't do much for us. We need to win this game. So Waterhouse makes it 23 goals for the season. Unlike Guy, he manages to put away those one-on-ones usually. Carr crashes through again. Misses that time though. See, I feel like we might score again, but I also feel like they might. And that's the problem. Akinola. That's a bit of a waste. it might be time to make a change. I'm going to bring off Jazz Casey for Jacob Ossé. It was a bit of a toss-up as to which one to bring on to play in the first place today. And Casey not been playing particularly well, so it was a pretty obvious change, I think. Corner, oh no, it's not corner, but it's free kick. Akinola, Smith, and it's a penalty. Oh goodness me, not now. Oh, this is so frustrating. And you know, I know that when we're in this situation, the penalty just won't be taken essentially. So this game is going to finish 2-1, I think. Oh, every time we get to the end of the season, something, and usually it's when we win the league. This is probably going to be when we lose the league, but we lose a crucial moment every single season. It really is very frustrating. Right, so here's the moment of truth. I'm assuming it's going to be a defeat. Yes, it is. So again, the penalty just doesn't get taken. Usually that's the case, although often if we're winning 3-0 then it will, which of course is frustrating because it's one time I don't want it to happen. It's just so frustrating to lose in those circumstances. It did look like we were coming back into that game and we had a penalty to make it 2-2, and now the season's pretty much over, I think. Skelmersdale, they're going to have to drop 4 points at least. I don't honestly see them doing it. Oh, one thing I should mention, this is a bit weird. There we go. The run-in shows you that we will actually finish our season a week before the other teams, which does mean that we could, in theory, win that game, be top of the league, but not be champions, which is a very strange state of affairs. It does mean that for once we won't have the state of affairs where I win a game, we win the league, but the game crashes on a 6th penalty or whatever it is. We've won sort of 6-0, but I don't get to see the trophy lift. So I suppose in some ways that's a good thing, although my guess is it's probably likely we will have lost the title by then. But I don't quite know why that's happened. Surely in reality, these games here would have been fitted in before, or if necessary, this game would have been moved to the 29th. I don't know. But it just seems odd that you can have a title race like this where 2 teams finish a week later than the other one. It's really odd. I don't quite understand it. But oh well. So yeah, that's where we stand now. It's obviously going to be a bit difficult from here. We've got 3 games left: Silsden, Northwich, Victoria, Whitchurch, Allport. Realistically, we definitely need to win all 3 of them. I think if we win all 3 of them, we would have a chance, but it would only be a chance, and certainly not something I think is likely at this point. And it's going to be very, very frustrating to miss out narrowly again, which is looking likely now. I can only hope that something will change. Of course, there is a possibility that it will. I will be hoping and praying for Earlham, Litherland, Northwich and or Bootle. 2 of them can do something against this team. If 2 of them do something, then we can win the league again. Whether that's 2 draws, a draw and a defeat, 2 defeats, anything like that, because they need to drop more than 3 points. Okay, so even 4 points would be fine, but that needs to happen, and obviously we're going to be relying on that. With that in mind, I'm going to be back at some point quite soon. It rather does depend on the games that are happening. If it looks like it's just running away from us and they're not going to lose again, then I'll come back for the last game, whether we need to win it or not. I will do. Probably be quite a brief video in terms of the actual game if the game doesn't mean anything. But either way, I will do an end of season review at the end of that and show you a few things, a few plans, etc. So that is what you can expect tomorrow. Disappointing game 2 games today, to lose in the League Cup semi-final and then to lose to Al Sager Town. 2 very disappointing results, particularly when things are going quite well outside of live comms at the moment. I do feel that at the moment, if you look at our last defeats, we've lost 3 of the last 4 defeats have all been live comm games. So I almost feel like it's a little bit of a curse at the moment. Hopefully we can turn that around the next time, because if the next time matters, it could be a game that gives us our next title. So fingers crossed for that. I will see you tomorrow. Fingers crossed for some results elsewhere as well. Goodbye.